Brothers and sisters, welcome to our today's program. We are now the 18th of February 2020. My name is Odon Bulamba. I'm going to present you this news at the right time, and I would like to ask you to be with me during this process. Straight away, I will jump into the news without giving to you the summary or the headlines. 1. Kalev Mutond fights back after the National Intelligence Agency hearing. So the hearing from the National Intelligence Agency, which he led for 8 years, Kalev Mutond has been suspected of attempting to destabilize the nation. He denies this allegation as the FCC, the Common Front for Congo of Kabila, prepares the response. Kalev Mutond was arrested on 12th of February at Njili International Airport, which is located in Kinshasa, for illegal holding of a diplomatic passport. He was later on left and he walked free. However, the Directorate General for Migration, DGM, has banned him from leaving the country. His decision is that the former head of National Intelligence Agency says he was not informed of. FCC of Kabila meeting in Kinshasa. Kalev Mutond, now suspected of attempting to destabilize the nation, had traveled with his passport to several countries in the region. He denies the charges. He said that his travels, including the one in December 2019 in Uganda, where he met with the Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni, had all been authorized by Joseph Kabila. The former NIA, or National Intelligence Agency, boss, that's Kalev Mutond, also brandished a mission order issued by the Congolese Prime Minister Office, covering his trip to Entebbe, Uganda, from 9 to 12 February. He was then appointed as political advisor to the Prime Minister. According to our information, the coordination of the FCC, Kabila's coalition, worried about the recent arrests against its caciques, including Janet Jackson, met in Kinshasa. She will speak at the coming days. Let's talk about the second news of ours today. It's about the retrocession. No retrocession, no operating costs. The governors complained to Sylvestre Ilunga Ilunkamba. A delegation of governors presented their grievances to Prime Minister Sylvestre Ilunga Ilunkamba on Monday. They say that for about 6 months, they have struggled to function. There is no money in the office of the governors. Therefore, they need money. For some time, almost a semester, it has been difficult to work in the provinces. Governors wanted to meet with the Prime Minister to present their demand, said Richard Muyej Mangeze, governor of Lualaba, speaking on behalf of his colleagues. He referred to a difficult situation that does not allow governors to deploy and implement their programs. He said, they don't get the handover. They don't get the operating costs anymore, let alone the ETD right. They don't know how to function anymore. we have been talking about the coverage of the National Equalization Fund for a long time. So far, nothing has been done, he added. Without giving details of the answers given by Prime Minister, Richard Muyej Manges spoke of a firm commitment on the part of Sylvestre Ilunga. He said, "We had the Prime Minister's clear answers supplemented by the Deputy Prime Minister, Budget Minister, Minister of Finance. The solution will gradually come. The given reasons are objective. We agreed to observe. The commitment has been firm and we are waiting," he added. So this will lead us to a third point of our news today, where we are going to talk about the challenges expected after the magistrate appointed by Tshilombo. Tshilombo, the president of the DRC, appointed the head of offices and court to the top of the judiciary. Will these 6 new judges succeed in improving the efficiency of justice in a country where corruption scandals have repeatedly erupted? President Félix Tshisekedi, who had built his election campaign around the theme of the rule of law, was particularly expected on the issue. After consultation with his partners of the Common Front for Congo, FCC of Kabila, the head of state finally proceeded to appoint 6 heads of offices and courts to the top of the judiciary. As such, they become members of the Office of Supreme Judicial Council. 2 notable changes in this new composition: the departures of Florika Benge Numbi, who had notably led investigations that excluded Moses Katumbi from the 2018 presidential race, and Jerome Kitoko Kimpele, who confirmed in 2011 the controversial election of Joseph Kabila as president of the Republic of Congo. Many challenges lie ahead for these new senior officials. The biggest project is the impunity of economic crimes, including suspicions of embezzlement and money laundering. The cases of 15 million allegedly disappeared from the Treasury account, and the debt case between Jekamin and Israel businessman Dan Gertler are particularly denounced by civil society. One of the projects is a fight against corruption and economic crimes. The former members of these courts had not considered this theme to be one of their priorities, insists George Kapiamba, president of the Congolese Association for Access to Justice. Internal problems within the judiciary will also have to be put on the table. Some magistrates are involved in acts of corruption, influence peddling, or even embezzlement, says the activist. They must re-establish discipline within the judiciary, he added. Who are these new magistrates? Will their experience allow them to fundamentally rescind the Congolese judiciary? Victor Mumba Mukono, that's number 1. Attorney General Florika Bangenumbi has given way to Attorney General Victor Mumba Mukono. With several years of experience, his main challenge will be the handling of new cases related to suspicions of corruption that affect members of the entourage of the new head of state. 2. Jean-Paul Mukolo. John Paul Mukolo is appointed Attorney General by the Constitutional Court. His magistrate worked for a long time as General Counsel at the level of the Attorney General's Office of the Republic. It should contribute to the restoration of rigor towards magistrates involved in acts of corruption. 3. Dominique Tambwe. For his part, Dominique Tambwe was appointed the first president of the Court of Cassation and replaced Jérôme Kitoko Kimpele, who in 2011 confirmed the controversial presidential election of Joseph Kabila. Number 4. Octave Tele Ziele. Octave Tele Ziele is a new Attorney General by the Council of State, replacing Joseph Mushagalusa. Close to the former regime, the latter's action was generally considered negative. He would have distinguished himself by obstructing the performance of certain decisions made by Council of State. 5. Joseph Mutombo Katalai. General Joseph Mutombo Katalai is the first president of the Military High Court. He is considered a good magistrate, having contributed to the emergence of exemplary jurisprudence at the level of military justice, particularly with regard to the repression of serious crimes attributed to certain police and military personnel. He is considered a man of discipline and rigor. Mukuntu Kiana. Lieutenant General Mukuntu Kiana is retained as Auditor General at the High Military Court. He has been singled out in what can be seen as a stalemate of the trial involving the UN experts in the Kasai region. In particular, he is accused of failing to bring in senior officials suspected of involvement in the Kamwina Sampu case. In view of this new appointment, can the DRC expect the judicial power to recover in the country? Many Congolese observers remain dubious. The improvement of justice in the DRC is not only about men, but also about the working conditions of magistrates. If nothing changes at this level, we will always find ourselves in the same situation, says Willy Wenga, a lawyer and expert on right issues. So we have maybe to think about something else, and let us talk about Mabunda. Mabunda, the president of the National Assembly, has been in Beni, north of Kivu, since Monday, 17th of February, to bring her compassion to the population bruised by the activism of the ADF fighters. She visited the war displaced in Oicha, to whom she conveyed the message of comfort. She also gave them food and non-food items. Mabunda addressed the people of the city of Beni and asked them to keep hope. She said, "I have come to show you our compassion of a united, indivisible Congo and at peace. If we are here, it is to reassure you that the DRC has not forgotten you. We will not let North Kivu sink into endless disaster. It's to tell you that you have to keep hope. My message today is a message of courage, peace, unity, affection. We are here with you, we mourn with you, and suffer with you." Janine Mabunda told a segment of the population gathered in a bicentennial hall. Ms. Mabunda was accompanied by the governor of North Kivu, Karli Kasavita, national and provincial deputies as well. She promised to pass on the government the sufferings of the people of Beni. In a word, she said, "I will share your suggestions, what I've seen and what I've heard in the government, to the Supreme Commander of the Army, President Chilombo, so that together As we did for the M23, we will find a definitive solution to Beni. It will take a little time, but thanks to you, the people who give us the regular information, hope is allowed. Killings of civilians have been ongoing in the Beni area since 2014. Thousands of people have died in massacres attributed to Allied Democratic Forces, ADF fighters. This Ugandan rebellion, which has been on Congolese soil since 1995, extends its activities to the neighboring province of Ituri, where at least 30 people were killed a week ago in the territories of Mombasa and Irimu. The Congolese army launched large-scale operations against the rebels at the end of October last year, but this has failed to overcome the violence. Maybe we should talk now about provinces. Let us go to provinces where in Kinshasa, the Minister of Humanitarian Action and National Solidarity, Steve Mbikai, said the provisional death toll from the accident on the Bypass Avenue that occurred on Sunday, 16th of February, has been revised upward to about 40 injured and 15 dead. In Beni, Janine Mabunda, the president of the National Assembly, who has been in Beni since Monday, 17th of February, calls on the population to support the army in order to put an end to atrocities in the region. She said, there is no fight you can win without your army. I ask you that we accompany and support our army so that we will win together. Encourage and support, but also point out what is wrong. In Olomami, several families spent the night outside following the flood in Bukama. The city of Bukama has been experiencing flooding since the beginning of the year. Several communities and schools are affected. Some residents are forced to take refuge at the railway station where they inherit the homes of the fortunes, while others have been taking refuge in the nearby community. Canoes are the only means of travel. The victims of these floods live in difficult conditions. They don't have latrines or toilets. They are relieving themselves in the lake. Water that they use, water from the lake, they use it for washing, for cooking, and for drinking. Therefore, there is a risk of confronting epidemics and waterborne diseases. Central Kasai. After the torrential rain that fell on the region this Sunday, 16th of February, in the town of Bilomba, territory of Kazumba, Mutefu area, 5 members of the same family died in a blast. This is a mother and her 4 children. An electric shock fell on the victim's house, which caught fire at the same time. Since the beginning of the rainy season, several people have been struck in central Kasai. Lomami. On Friday, February the 14th, following the poor quality of care observed in health centers and the posts that operate but have not been ordered by the High Office, the administrator of Ngandajika decided to close 65 medical facilities for non-compliance with the rules of operation. The question I ask myself, has the government built viable centers that will help residents not to walk tens of miles to reach the viable centers? It would be better to build capacity and facilitate these people to learn more about medicals, rather than destroying everything. So if they have already something, why to not encourage them, guide them, increase their abilities, capacities in order for them to build something sustainable and the job can continue. Instead of asking these poor villagers, these people are people who live in those rural areas, to walk for miles to take people to medical centers which are far away from their villages. Let's hope that this decision is not influenced or it's not based on the hassle of taxes and other type of corruptions. Because I know in the Congo, they can come and tell you, we shut down your medical center, we shut down your business, so that you can be forced to bribe them in order to continue to operate. Mbuji-Mayi, on February the 15th, that was a celebration of the 38th anniversary of the UDPS, which ended in a blast. Instead of celebrating, party members accused the hierarchy of their provincial federation of blocking the functioning of the UDPS, political part of Chilombo, and preventing the emergence of youth. The young people are calling for the resignation of the governor of that province, whom they describe as inactive. This one will only employ his brother as a friend and people that surround him. Expressing their displeasure, the police intervened and dispersed them. Always in Mbuji-Mayi, we continue with Mbuji-Mayi. On Friday the 14th, the Garrison Court began a trial on the murder of Gracia Kayembe. The public hearing took place at the Mbuji-Mayi Memorial Town Esplanade with the alleged policeman Kalombo Kabangu Ambroise, who is accused of fatally shooting the victim on the 13th of December 2018 during the election campaign. The president of that military court suspended the hearing and dismissed it until Thursday, February 27. Let's go to Bukavu. Bukavu is in South Kivu. President Chilombo's 100-day work or project was diverted by 17,581,734 US dollars. The South Kivu Opposition Communicators Caucus is calling on the judiciary to take up the case. This structure speaks of a degraded situation desperate for many Congolese who expected change in all areas of life. Continuing in Bukavu, on Monday 17th of February, the operation to evacuate or to remove kiosks, containers, and wrecked vehicles from different corners of the city of Bukavu commenced or started. And this was done in order to make the city to look clean again. Part of those videos, you'll find them in our Njo Leo YouTube channel. You can visualize them for further information. Let's go to the eastern part of Kasai, Eastern Kasai, where on Saturday, 15th of February, in Chitolo, one of the villages of Katanda territory in Eastern Kasai, a 36-month-old girl was raped by a man who is in his 50s. The alleged rapist took advantage of the absence of the victim's parents, who are said to have gone to the farm or field and to carry out his dirty work. The rapist was caught red-handed by the inhabitant of the village, and he was surrendered to the police. And while the traumatized girl is now in a local medical center for treatment. Central Congo. The Luki Biosphere Reserve in Central Congo has been deforested for more than 3 years now. This statement has been made on Friday, 14th of February, by the mayor of the city of Boma, Marie-José Nyongonswami, during a hearing given to the delegation of WWF DRC and CNCEIB, National Coalition Against Illegal Logging. lodging. For the urban authority, the central government must be involved in the fight against its deforestation, which has been taken on a very worrying aspect. In Mbandaka, this Sunday, 16th of February, in the city of Mbandaka, province of Equateur, a traffic accident occurred between a vehicle and a motorcycle. As a result, 3 people were wounded. In Tanganyika, a conflict between Pygmies and the Bantu of the Luba community. Both communities, Pygmies and Bantu, live in a Nyunzu territory, has displaced more than 100,000 people. For these two communities, this conflict results in increasing insecurity, reduced intercommunity trust, more limited access to basic services, and significant disruptions to agricultural production and livelihoods. In Sankuru, at least 19 people missing and 4 survived. This is a provisional death toll from the sinking of a dugout that occurred this Sunday, February 2020, last Sunday, on Sankuru River in Bena Dibele, which is at 150 kilometers from the city of Lusambo in Sankuru province. Bena Dibele's notability links this accident to the wrong loads. So this is our news for today, my dear brothers and sisters. Before I leave the studio, let me ask you, or let me tell you, let me invite you, let me ask you once again to subscribe to our Njo Leo YouTube channel. Share our videos with friends, send the message to others, invite other friends and colleagues, invite also your neighbors, bring your contribution, your advice. Together we can build our community. Once again, thank you for your attention. Thank you for every single minute and second of your time that you give to us in order to listen to us. And for those who are asking me to give our bank details, they are just in front of my screen, in front of your screen, sorry. Please have a look at them, and if you want to assist us by any means, financially, for instance, you want to do any transfer, please use those bank details. And if you don't feel really comfortable to use those details, you can also send us a message through WhatsApp via this number, and here we can tell you what other means you can use. But first of all, let us say that our country is one, it will continue to be united. Let us continue to love each other and work together. With our little contribution, then we'll become victorious. So please let us hold our hands together for the fight of making our country to stand on its feet again. May God bless you. May God bless our country. This was the voice of Odon Bulamba, and I hope to catch up with you again in the next few hours to come. I wish you a wonderful day and talk to you again very, very soon. Thank you very much, and let me say goodbye for now.